Welcome back. All right, so busy day today around the National Hockey League trade deadline. It was the slowest trade deadline we've had in over 20 years. So for anybody who's like, seems like there weren't very many trades, there wasn't. That's why I just did the one video where I just summed up what happened today. Normally on a trade deadline day, I'll do 11, 12 trade videos. It was slow as expected. But it's interesting because coming out of the trade deadline, the teams that are down, the teams that are down in the standings, seem to be buoyed by this, and I'm kind of used to seeing this where that stress of okay, which one of us is going to leave is gone. You know that the guys who are there, in the stalls next to you, those are the guys who are going to be there till the end of the season. So you can just go out there and play hockey, and you do not have to worry about the trade deadline anymore. All right, starting off, Detroit. You know, I've been saying for months now how hardworking Detroit is and how their record didn't really tell you just how hardworking they are. Now, I will say this too. On paper, they're not a very good team. But on the ice, if you don't work hard enough, they can beat you. And Carolina found that out again tonight. The only team in their division that they have a below 500 record against is Detroit. They've lost 4 out of 7 now against Detroit. So this was game number 1,000, or at least they had the 1,000 game ceremony for Jordan Staal. When you have these ceremonies before games, it can sometimes take. I mean, it's hard to say it takes the energy out of the building, but it sometimes feels like it's a distraction for the team. Sometimes, like you have this big ceremony before the game and it cools everybody off. So the shots were only one apiece at 5 minutes, so this game had a slow start to it. Reimer denied Rasmussen, who had a great game. The Wings were pressing. The Wings were hitting posts. They were the better team in the first period. They were playing very, very well. Ernie had a net drive that went wide. He continues to have the best season of his career. Kane's fourth line presses in the last minute, but it's scoreless after one. And you can see after that period that Carolina probably mildly frustrated with what they were dealing with. Second period, the Canes... they get a power play. We then have Bernier snow angeling, and he made a save. So Bernier was really good tonight. I agree with the Detroit Red Wings not moving him. Now sign him, extend him. Shots were even at 9 minutes, which I thought was really good for the Wings. They were keeping this game scoreless, and they were getting just as many opportunities as Carolina. Larkin had a chance that almost fooled Reimer. Pretty darn close. Things get scrummy with 9:31 left. We get a power play for the Wings. Then we get a minute and 12 seconds of 4-on-4. The Wings would get another power play after all of that had ended. And honestly, really hard-working Red Wings game through 2 periods. Scoreless. But, frustrating. Had to be frustrating for Carolina. 24 seconds into the third period, Adam Ernie scores from Rasmussen and Filppula at 24 seconds. So Rod Brind'Amour feels that the play was offside, and he challenges it. He fails. It's one of the very few times this year that an offside challenge has failed, so it's a power play for the Wings, and then they get a 5-on-3. They don't score during that 5-on-3, but when it's 5-on-4, Zadina puts it in from Rasmussen and Larkin at 2:34. And so that's 2 assists for Rasmussen, and the announcers then point out, Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond, that the Wings are basically double shifting Rasmussen in that third period. He's playing very, very well. We then get a power play for the Canes. It becomes a minute and 19 seconds of 4-on-4. So again, we get the overlapping power plays. Both penalty kills succeed in that situation. The Canes would get another power play. That was a no. So the Canes, who number 1 power play in the league, Detroit's kept it under control. Niederreiter, however, would break the shutout from Foegele and Staal at 13:54. So Staal on his big night, he gets an assist to make it 2-1. And then the Canes had all the momentum. They had a lot of chances late in this one. Detroit knows how to make things interesting, right? With 2:13 left, the Canes call a timeout. They would pull the goalie at that time as well. Bernier made some nice saves, holds on to it, and then it's the empty net goal. It's Gagne from Filppula at 19:05. Detroit wins in Carolina 3-1. They go to 15, 23, and 6. That is a respectable record. You look at the record that Detroit had last year, their record right now looks pretty good. And so this feels like it's that slow climb for Detroit to respectability. On the Carolina side, they dropped to 27, 10, and 4. They lose out on an opportunity to, make things tougher for Tampa Bay and for Florida on their night off. Shots in this one, 13 to 10 Carolina in the first, 11-10 Carolina in the second, and 14 to 10 Carolina in the third. Detroit was very consistent. Final shots, 38 to 30 in favor of Carolina. Detroit 1 for 5 on the power play, Carolina 0 for 4. Not all those power plays were the full 2 minutes, of course. Bernier saves 37 out of 38. Great game for him. And Reimer saves 27 out of 29. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, for Carolina fans who feel like they didn't do enough at the deadline, this game isn't going to make them feel better about it. So, we'll see how things go. But for Detroit, not too shabby. Very nice. On the road, and you get that done. All right. Next up, Chicago. So for the Chicago Blackhawks and Columbus Blue Jackets, these games are typically very, very entertaining, and it's not surprising when they go beyond 60 minutes. Really isn't surprising at all. The cannon thirds being worn by Columbus, love those jerseys. I'd love to see a white version of those. In other words, I'd like to see that be their home and away design. It's not going to happen, but a white version of that third jersey would be nice next year. Early chance for Bjorkstrand. Boquist took a puck to the jaw. He would exit on that. Man, when a guy gets hit in the face with the puck, it's tough. Shots were 4-2 for the Hawks at 7 minutes. But then the momentum switched shortly after that. There were 12 shot attempts for each team at 13 minutes. And then Matteau scores from Jones and Sherwood at 14:01. That is the first point of Cole Sherwood's career in the NHL. We then get a power play for Chicago. That was unsuccessful. However, that's the power play goal there. I'm just looking down here. That is the power play goal right there. They did go 1 for 3. It's Keith from DeBrincat and Kane at 16:25. So Chicago scores there. We go to the second period. The Hawks would score, but luckily for Columbus, it was after the whistle. If it's after the whistle, not much you can do. I know there's that continuation rule as well, but in that situation, they reviewed it and they went, nope, after the whistle. Pressure by the Hawks at 3 minutes. They're unable to score. And then it's Patrick Laine. Laine is a very hot and cold player, and right now it looks like the hot version of Laine is coming out. He scores his 11th from Domi and Gavrikov at 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Harrington, 3-on-2. Lankinen makes the save there, so Harrington had the chance on the 3-on-2. And then Domi snapped on Connor Murphy. I think it was an elbow from Murphy that ticked him off, but he just completely lost it. So Murphy got no penalty minutes on the play, and Domi gets 2, 2, and 4, and he gets 14 altogether. He has 2, 2, and 10. So, and I'm watching that, and I'm watching how he did this, and I'm like, that's how you can tell that's Ty Domi's kid right there, because Max, that snap right there, that's definitely that's in the genetic coding right there. So the Hawks had a 4-minute power play. Kane nearly gets one, but that power play, it bleeds over into the third period. A near shorthanded goal for Texier. Somehow it stays out. Korpisalo made saves, and the 4-minute power play was killed off. However, Chicago would score to tie it. It's Kurashev from Kane at 6 minutes and 14 seconds. And 7 minutes into that third period, the shots were 7-3 for the Hawks. So Chicago, a really, really strong game in the third. And then Roslovic with a turnover to Connolly. Brett Connolly making his debut as a Chicago Blackhawk. He gets a goal at 8:21. Not too bad for your debut game. Columbus pressed at the half. Lankinen was holding on to this here. But then it's Laine scoring at 11:31. And if you haven't seen it, by all means, go and watch. I stopped there so you could pause the video and go and watch. It is a beautiful goal for Laine. It's an end-to-end goal. It's the kind that goal scorers score. And it's why, he broke that drought. He gets his first goal in 15 games last time. He gets 2 goals tonight, so he has 3 goals in 2 games. This is the frustrating part of Laine. He's a very gifted goal scorer who doesn't consistently score goals. He had that nice end-to-end beauty. That ties it up. Roslovic then had a break. Lankinen made the save there, and there was a last-minute press by Columbus, so they did their best. This was a much better effort by Columbus than in their last game. In overtime, the Hawks controlled early. Laine fires one wide, so Laine was going for the hat trick, goes the other way, and Hagel scores from Doc and Kalanick at 1:24. So Chicago wins this one 4-3 in overtime. Very important 2 points for Chicago. They go to 20-18-5. For Columbus, who are not making the playoffs, 15, 20, and 9 is the record now. Shots 13-10 in the first in favor of Columbus, 9-7 Chicago in the second, 13-12 Chicago in the third. In overtime, the shots were 2-1 Chicago. Final shots 34-33 overall in favor of the Blackhawks. Power play, Chicago goes 1 for 3, and Columbus goes power plays. Yeah, I don't think we had any. Lankinen 30 saves on 33 shots. Korpisalo 30 saves on 34 shots. And so for Columbus again, they're playing out the string. And Laine apparently has decided to heat up now, which again is frustrating because you look at this and you go, if those goals had been there, say 10 games ago, maybe they don't end up in this position that they're in right now. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him next game, right? All right, Montreal and Toronto. This was a very entertaining game. For the Montreal Canadiens, they came into this one definitely stumbling around, and they picked it up. This was a really, really solid game by Montreal in the first period. And then from there, it gets a little bit dicey, but they end up pulling that out in the end. So it was Campbell versus Allen. Jack Campbell, of course, with 11 straight wins to start the season, a new NHL record. He's going for 12. Early Drouin chance was blocked, but at 1:17, it's Tatar. Tatar scores from Byron. Anderson then pressed for another. The Habs would eventually draw a power play. It's what happens when you have the puck in the other team's end the whole period. Suzuki gets the power play goal from Weber and Drouin at 7:53. So if you're a Montreal fan, you now have Tatar getting a goal and you have Suzuki getting a goal. These are two guys you want to start scoring because it's been cold for them, right? Matthews then tried to answer. The Habs will go back to the power play. That one was unsuccessful. Strong defense by the Habs that first period, giving Toronto nothing, keeping to the outside, not a lot of shots, good shot blocking going on. The Leafs would press with 4 minutes left, but they weren't getting shots. They only had 3 shots in the entire period. So we go to the second. Early stops by Campbell as he tries to keep this from being a 3-0 game, and you get the feeling if it gets to 3-0, Montreal might just blow them right out. Anderson had a chance that went wide, so Josh Anderson had some good opportunities tonight. Shots were 3-3 at 9 minutes. Toffoli had a chance for number 20. That was stopped. Toffoli had to be frustrated with this tonight. Not the result, but for himself. Matthews would then score to make it 2-1 from Marner and Riley at 9:28. So that makes it 2-1. And much better period for the Leafs overall. But they're still down 2-1, right? Campbell then denied Byron. There's a power play for the Leafs. It doesn't score because their power play hasn't been allowed to score for a while. Tavares, however, would score from Hyman and Mikheyev at 14:57. Ties it up at 2. It doesn't stay tied for long. At 16:22, so about a minute and a half later, Josh Anderson, after some near misses, he gets a goal from Kulak. So that makes it 3-2 for Montreal after 2 periods. Third period. Tavares had a shot that was blocked by Edmondson in that third period. Power play for the Leafs. It's unsuccessful, so they had the 2 power plays, and they were both a no. Toffoli had a chance again in the third period. He was denied once again. The Leafs were in control of the puck with about 6 minutes left. Again, probably wanting more shots on net than what they were getting. Suzuki had a chance that was denied at the other end. And then it's Tatar from Byron and Petrie at 17:35. That makes it 4-2. Goalie pull by the Leafs. There's a timeout with 1:04 left. But, yeah, 4-2 is your final. The Leafs, 28-11-3. Montreal goes to 18-12-9. So for them, yeah, Montreal looking pretty good for 4th place at the very least. I don't think they have much of a chance of moving up, but we never know. And we may see this matchup in the first round of the playoffs, which looks like it could be very, very interesting. Shots in this one were 11-3 in favor of Montreal in the first, 13-7 Toronto in the second, 9-7 Toronto in the third. Both teams had 25 shots in the game. Toronto 0-2 on the power play, Montreal 1-2. Campbell 21 saves on 24 shots, so he only allows the 3 goals. Allen 23 saves on 25 shots for him. And for Montreal, they get the win. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So yeah, and they get Tatar 2 goals, Anderson with a goal, Suzuki with a goal. There's a lot of things, a lot of boxes get checked off if you're a Montreal fan tonight, right? So yeah, there we go. Big win for Montreal against the number 1 team in the North. All right, next up, Ottawa. So I'm wearing the Ottawa gear because, again, I thought, tonight I'll wear the gear of either Detroit or Ottawa. And then there was a team on the second board as well that was like, man, I really want to wear one of their jerseys, but I thought, no, I'll go with Ottawa. So it's Hellebuck versus Forsberg. And for Forsberg, Anton Forsberg, a goalie who's bounced around back and forth, going across the border, going from team to team, not actually playing a game for any of the teams that are claiming him on waivers. Not too shabby tonight. This is a good argument in favor of keeping Forsberg around if you're Ottawa till the end of the year, and then just figure things out for next year. I think Forsberg's earned the right to be part of a 3-goalie rotation once Matt Murray's back, right? Power play for the Jets, which means they're going to waive him because that's what happens. So power play for the Jets. Connor really wanted one. He had 2 really good opportunities, and then the third goes in. So he scores his 19th on the power play from Morrissey at 5 minutes. And then Stanley and Dzingel kind of had a tie-up. Now, that's unfair because Stanley's about 9'6". Don't quote me on that, but I think he's 9'6". Might be 9'7" or 10 feet tall on skates. He's a big guy. He's huge. It's like the gods of hockey know. Well, Chara's career is winding down. Let's bring in the next tree, and like he's a shaved ant or something. I don't know. But Logan Stanley, I've been impressed with his game, and you know when he's tying up with Dzingel, I thought, man, if he wanted to, he could probably tool Dzingel. I'm glad he didn't. Ehlers would then score from Forbert and Dubois at 8:25. So it's 2-0 Jets, and honestly, they came out playing really, really well. It looked like this was going to be like an 8 or 9-1 game in favor of the Jets. But Stanley then has a fight with Josh Brown. So Josh Brown's like, fine, if Stanley wants to try to ragdoll somebody, I'll step up. So he does. Senators press, they get a power play. So the Senators kind of spurred on by that. It's Brady Tkachuk getting the power play goal from Norris and Shabbat at 11:03. And the play in that second half evens up. So the Jets had all the opportunities early on, and then the Sens had plenty of opportunities themselves. Connor Brown would then score from Tierney at 18:38. That's an 8-game goal streak for Connor Brown, and it kind of bounces off the glove of Hellebuck's and into the net. It's one that, you know, if you give Hellebuck a chance at that one again, he saves it. But Connor Brown's getting that kind of luck right now. That's an 8-game goal streak for Brown. So it's 2-2 after 1 period. Second period, the Jets get a power play. Puck gets behind Forsberg on a play, but no, so it's in the crease. It's behind Forsberg. Man, he can't put it in. It gets cleared out. Connor Brown had a break that he almost scored on, so he kind of passed it to himself. It's one of these plays that Connor Brown's suddenly turning into a huge goal scorer. The Jets get a power play. That was a no. There was a press by the Jets after the power play ended. Forsberg making saves. Forsberg really was the story in this game for the Ottawa Senators. There was a late power play for the Jets as well. They had a lot of power play opportunities, and again, the Sens killed it off. And then in the last minute, there was a Sens power play that would carry over into the third. It's all killed off. The Jets press at 4 minutes. The Senators had a 2-on-1, and Dadonov was unable to bury it there. He would remember that. Power play then for the Jets, which again fails, and then Dadonov scores from Shabbat and Norris at 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So suddenly it's 3-2 in favor of Ottawa, who were down 2-0 early, and it looks like this one's going to get away from Winnipeg. As soon as it's 3-2, I'm like, okay, so that's probably it then. Things get scrummy with 5:40 left in this. They made it a 4-on-4. And then Tkachuk scores the second of the game at 16:12, and it was a beautiful breakaway goal by Tkachuk. That makes it 4-2. The Jets would pull the goalie with 2.5 minutes left. They were unable to generate a goal from that. So 4-2 is your final, much like here. So 2 of the top 3 teams in the North unable to secure any points tonight. So Edmonton probably pretty happy with both Montreal and Ottawa tonight. Ottawa goes to 14-25-4. Winnipeg 25-14-3. Ottawa, much like Detroit, if you aren't bringing the best work ethic, you're probably going to end up losing to them. Shots, 7 apiece in the first, 14-7 Winnipeg in the second, 10-5 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 26-24 for Winnipeg. Power plays, Winnipeg 1 for 5, Ottawa 1 for 2. Hellebuck, 20 saves on 24 shots. Forsberg, 24 saves on 26 shots. And again, not too shabby for a goalie that's bounced around the league, looking for a place to call home. I would say with the way he's played in Ottawa, he at least should get an opportunity in the 2021-2022 season somewhere. Somebody's got to give him an opportunity for some kind of role in the NHL because he's been pretty good. And we'll see whether or not that team ends up being Ottawa. He at least should get Ottawa-colored pads, shouldn't he? He still doesn't. Maybe he doesn't because he's had pretty good luck with the pads he's wearing now. Maybe he's superstitious. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, let's go ahead and change boards and talk about the other games. Sometimes the hockey gods don't care if you outplay the other team. And for Colorado, this is one of those rare times where they don't outshoot the opposition. They just didn't. Arizona came out and they played a really, really good game. Arizona, I don't think they could have played a much better game against Colorado, but it's Colorado. So the result doesn't necessarily go their way, right? Early press by the Coyotes. Grubauer, very sharp. He had, 5 days off? Looked very sharp tonight, much better than he did the last time he was in net. Shots were 6-5 for the Coyotes at 7 minutes. The Coyotes then score, but it's challenged, and it's goalie interference. So that goal comes off. And then Saad scores from Girard and Jost at 12-17. So this is one of those things. The top team gets the break, that the goal is called back for goalie interference, and then they get the lead. So this is one of those things. St. Louis is a very happy team tonight, even though their game has been pushed off for a month. The one with Minnesota was beat tonight. I think they're pretty happy with how tonight turns out. McDonald goes down. He has a puck to the face. Remember, this is his first game back after his 2-game suspension. The Avs down to 4D because Makar was out at that point as well. There's a late power play for the Avs. At that point, Makar returned. It looks like it was probably an equipment issue. So he just goes to get his equipment fixed and comes right back to the bench. Second period. So it's 1-0 Colorado after 1. Second period, the Coyotes would finish that penalty kill that rolled over. Prosvetov stops the chance for Girard. Chychrun then had a chance that goes out of play off of Kessel. I think it went off of his helmet. Don't hit your own player in the head with the puck. Just don't. McDonald had not returned at that point, and then shortly after they set it, McDonald does return wearing a cage, which I don't think he was comfortable with based on how the rest of the game went. Power play for the Avs, they would score on it, and it's McKinnon scoring on the power play from Makar and Landeskog at 9:08. That's a 10-game point streak for Nathan McKinnon. He's pretty hot right now. And so that's a good thing if you're a Colorado fan, right? Coyotes would get a power play. That was a no. The Avs, interestingly enough, went without a 5-on-5 shot for a while. They hadn't had one since I think it was like 18:23 of the first period. And so it had been about 12 minutes without a 5-on-5 shot, which is something Colorado normally does to their opposition. Then there's a power play for the Avalanche. That's killed off. And then obviously they get a 5-on-5 shot because they get a goal here. Rantanen scores from McKinnon and Makar at 18:03. So McKinnon with a goal and an assist in tonight's game continues to rack up the points. There's a late Avalanche power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Fisher. Grubauer makes the save there. So we go to the third period. It's 3-0 in favor of Colorado. But it's like the Coyotes just channeled the team that they were against Vegas. They're like, well, remember when we almost came back and we lost anyways? Why don't we do that again? So Coyotes finish off the power play that rolled over into the third period. McDonald was then seen on the bench wearing the fishbowl. So instead of having the cage, he had the fishbowl, which probably more comfortable for him, right? Power play for the Coyotes. They kill that off, but then they get another, and they score on that one. It's Bunting who continues his amazing run with the power play goal from Ekman Larson at 10:42. And then they score again. It's Larson scoring, I believe that's his 7th now, from Hunt and Goligoski at 13:16. So all of a sudden, it's 3-2. So with 2:15 left, the Coyotes did pull the goalie. They were getting a lot of opportunities, but that gives the empty net goal to Rantanen from Taves at 18:03. So they pull the goalie again after that, and then things just get kind of ugly. Things get scrummy with 19 seconds left. The Coyotes get a power play out of that, and then they get scrummy again with 4.3 seconds left. So these teams really are not liking each other. But the Avalanche win at 4-2. They go to 29-9-4, and for the Coyotes, they drop to 19-19-5 as they continue to just hand away points at a time where if they could get points, they would be 4th in the division. Shots in this one, 12-9 Arizona in the first, 11-6 Arizona in the second, 14-5 Arizona in the third. Final shots, 37-20 for the Coyotes. Yeah, weird game. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 4. Prosvetov, 16 saves on 19 shots. Grubauer, 35 saves on 37 shots. Grubauer was quite the story tonight. So, yeah, there's that. All right, next up, Vegas. Once again showing you can't count Vegas out. And I know that's a storyline that I've talked about a lot because it tends to be true, and it's something that that goes back to their first season, that if you have a lead on Vegas, you better keep scoring goals. So the shots were 5-2 in Vegas's favor at 6 minutes. They did come out as the sharper team. The Kings press, they draw a power play. Vegas killed that off, but Wagner scores from Lemieux and Lazat at 9:41. So that's Brendan Lemieux's first point as a member of the LA Kings. And that goal was on a breakaway. It was a nice goal. Kings then press for another. Peterson saves Tuck on a fast break. Alex Tuck has been waiting for a goal. In fact, a lot of players who were waiting for goals for Vegas kind of break through tonight, and that was the sign that Tuck was due. Vegas would press with 5.5 minutes left. Coughlin had a chance. They had him dressed as a forward tonight. He's normally on the blue line. Forward might be a better spot for him for now, I guess. Carlson had a shot that was stopped. There was a close call at the Vegas net with 3 minutes left. It doesn't go in. And then there was a last-minute press by Vegas, and LA, kills that, and so they're up 1-0 after one period. Second period, Lemieux had a wraparound that was saved. The Kings would pressure it around the 5-minute mark. Fast, open game, good goaltending at both ends of the rink. And then it's Kopitar scoring from Brown and Iafallo at 8:57. So LA's up 2-0. And, if they can get that third, it wasn't going to happen. Vegas pushed for one at the half. Leonard prevents Grundstrom from getting a puck that would have just been a tap in for a goal. And then Roy, who went 25 games without a goal. This is his second in 3 games? So he scores from Yurcho and Theodore at 14:20. Is that Yurcho's first point as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights? Because remember, they don't have Janmark yet, so you got to put somebody else in there. Vegas was then pressing for the tie. Kings get a power play. There was a shorthanded break for Stevenson. That went wide. However, Stone, who in this game, just the steals, again, by Stone. He gets a pass from Stevenson, and he gets in, and he scores at 19:33. So in the last minute of the second period, it's a tie game. And you could feel that there had been a seismic shift in the energy and the momentum in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. Going into the third period, there was a charge in that first shift by Vegas. Leonard saved on the Kings 2-on-1. Then the puck goes the other way, and it's Tuck. At 4:35, he scores one of those Alex Tuck goals to make it 3-2 in favor of Vegas. Kings get a power play. It ends up having one shot. Vegas had 2 shorthanded shots, and Tuck absolutely flying throughout that. Then there's a power play for Vegas, and Max Pacioretty finally gets it. We've been talking about him going for his 300th goal for a while. He finally gets it tonight on the power play at 8:22, and that made it 4-2 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. So, big night for him. He gets goal 300. Good. And he seems to be picking it up, so watch for him to go on another hot streak. That was his 20th of the season. Then there was a post for Athanasiou after that. Yeah, the Kings just were not getting the breaks. With 56.8 seconds left, the Kings would get a power play, and they'd pull the goalie. What was interesting was they had plenty of opportunities before that to pull the goalie. Todd McClellan not pulling the goalie. And the announcers were openly asking, why isn't he pulling him? And all I could think was, maybe McClellan's using old school thinking of, we're not going to score 2 on Vegas, so I'm not pulling the goalie. May very well be the case. I'd be interested to know what he said in the post-game interview if anybody asks him about it, but if he'll even say why he wasn't pulling the goalie. But they don't get it. They have the 6-on-4, but they don't get it. What happens, of course, 6-on-4 is every time Vegas gets it, they don't have to worry about icing the puck because there's no icing when you're shorthanded. So, Vegas holds on, wins 4-2. They go to 28-11-2. The Kings drop to 16-19-6. Again, if you're a Blues fan, tonight worked out really well for you. There's a loss by Arizona, there's a loss by LA, and then we're going to get over to this one. So the shots, 12 apiece in the first, 21-10 for Vegas in the second, 8-6 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 41-28 for Vegas. The Kings, 0 for 4 on the power play, Vegas 1 for 2. Leonard saves 26 out of 28, ends up having a very good game, and Peterson, 37 saves on 41 shots. He can only do so much. He's not a miracle worker. Peterson has very good numbers overall, whether you look at just the straight numbers or the advanced stats numbers. He's a very good goaltender this year. Just it's Vegas. And, some guys who've been cold lately get on the board. Like I said, Pacioretty's been waiting for that 300th goal. He finally got the 299th on an empty net. Now he gets 300. Stone had gone a while without a goal. That's the first goal in a while for Tuck. A lot of things went right for Vegas tonight. We'll see whether or not they can build on that. All right. Last game of the night. San Jose and Anaheim. I don't know what to tell San Jose fans tonight. I really don't. This was a rough game if you're a San Jose fan, because they did everything right. They played really, really well. Didn't get a goal. So early chances for both teams. So much so that I put early at the start and at the end of that sentence. That's what you call special. Delorier still a Duck. And I think that's notable because yesterday there was talk about him being traded. And it seemed like, yeah, Delorier would be a good rental for somebody at the deadline. He's still a Duck. Comtois scores from Grant and Manson at 1:59. That was on a turnover. So the Sharks have to watch the turnovers. Crossbar then for Sorensen on a break. So that's kind of the luck that San Jose would have tonight. Power play for the Ducks. Too many men call on San Jose, which I don't think Bob Bugner agreed with. I don't think he liked that call at all. Stolarz then denied Donato. Balcers fired one wide, and then it goes the other way. And Volkov scores from Carrick and Delorier at 8:12. So Delorier on the board with an assist. I guess he's happy to still be a Duck. Sharks would get a power play. Stolarz absolutely robs Meyer. Great start for Stolarz in that first period. You could just see he was just dialed in. He was fantastic. And then the puck goes the other way, and Volkov scores again from Henrique and Larson at 12:19. So in a period that was pretty even, I'd even argue San Jose maybe had, the more, better chances. Anaheim's up 3-0. Jones denied a Heinen chance late in the period, but it's still 3-0. We go to the second period. Shots were 4-0 Sharks at the 4-minute mark as they got all the opportunities. Stolarz stopped a chance for Burns. Sharks had a 2-on-1, which misfired. The Ducks were leaning on Stolarz badly in the second and third period. This was basically like they looked at the scoreboard and went, our goalie's got it. All right, he's usually playing pretty well. Let's see how many pucks he can stop tonight. Maybe there was some betting going on there. How many pucks do you think our goalie can stop? I don't know, 44? He's not going to stop 44. You think it'll be a shutout? Sure. Well, you said it. We both said it out loud, so it's not going to happen. Leonard had a chance that went high. Was wave after wave by the Sharks at points in that second period. It was just every time the Ducks tried to get it out, the Sharks would regroup and just come right back in. Power play then for the Sharks. But we go to the third period, still 3-0, which had to leave the Sharks incredulous. And early in the third period, Raquel, and it's on a turnover. Agazino and Comtois with the assists at 3:26. So Raquel with his 8th of the year. Again, if you're a Ducks fan, you want to see his goal scoring pick it up, and maybe tonight's the start of that. Stolarz then denied Balcers, who again had some opportunities and just couldn't bury it. 6:53 left, the Sharks get their 4th power play of the game. And then with 3:42 left, the Sharks get another power play. So they were getting power plays, they were getting shots, everything was going their way except the score sheet. The score sheet wasn't going their way. And what made me laugh, okay, so the Sharks had the power play, and then it was 4-on-4 for 53 seconds. So while I'm writing Stolarz shutout with a question mark, the DJ, so it was a tripping call. So the DJ queues up and plays Holy Diver by Dio. Ronnie James Dio. And I laughed pretty good. Looking back now, it still makes me chuckle. Holy Diver might be the greatest thing you can play as a DJ if you're not convinced that it was a trip. It was a trip. In fact, it could be argued that it was partially a slew foot. But just, I had a chuckle on that one. And then, because it's this kind of night for San Jose, Knyzhov collides with Hertl and just smoked him. Hertl leaves the ice. He went to the dressing room. I hope he's okay. Because if you lose this game 4-0 in a game where you're the better team and Hertl gets hurt at the same time, that's too much. The Ducks improved to 13-23-7 with a 4-0 win. The Sharks dropped to 18-19-4. DJ's undefeated though. Holy Diver, that's great. I'm gonna have to do a video at some point on songs to play in certain situations. Holy Diver's right there. Shots 14-13 for San Jose. If you're one of the youngins watching this and you've never heard Holy Diver by Dio, come on, what are you doing with your life? Second period 17-3 in favor of San Jose. Yeah, it was lopsided. Third period 13-3 San Jose. The final shots were 44-19 in favor of the Sharks. They were 30-6 in the second and third period. So yeah, Stolarz was kind of left on his own. Power plays, Anaheim 0 for 1, San Jose 0 for 4. Although looking at all these power plays, I think that 4 might be low. I think it might have been 6. And Anaheim might have had a couple. So yeah, I'm not too sure on that exact number. Stolarz saves all 44 shots for his third career shutout. The first one since I think 2017-2018. And Jones saves 15 out of 19. And again, the question I have is it weird that Jones has good numbers, and as soon as they trade Dubnyk, all of a sudden his numbers have started to go down again? Like, I know it's a coincidence. I don't believe in that kind of... It's weird, right? Or is that just Sharks luck this year? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, if you have never heard the song Holy Diver by Dio, do so. It's a pretty good song. It's not my favorite song from Dio. It's not. The entire album, Dream Evil, is just fantastic. That entire album I memorized when I was a kid. But yeah, part of it too is when they're playing a band that I like them. Yes, perfect. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. It was a fun day. It was trade deadline day. Normally trade deadline day, we don't have this many games on. So that happened today, and I would imagine next year when we have trade deadline, there'll be the one game we normally have on trade deadline day. Normally it's a nice quiet day after the live stream, and I could just kind of chill, and not today, which is okay. That's perfectly fine. All right. Again, let me know your thoughts regarding these games. Smash that like button. I can't do it. But if you guys could just gently press the like button. It doesn't matter how hard you hit the like button. It still does the same thing. Don't forget to do that, and don't forget to subscribe. Sometimes I forget to subscribe to channels. The cat's been watching the Bird TV stuff. I haven't even subscribed to those channels yet. I need to, because every day now I've trained my cats to watch the TV in my bedroom and watch birds and squirrels. It's funny. It's funny, and it's a nice icebreaker for the day to watch 3 cats watch squirrels and birds. Yeah. Anyways, if you've never done that, and you've got a cat, go for it. It's fun. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. No, there are not videos of the cats watching the bird thing on the Entertainment Guy yet. At some point there will be, but not yet. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot, and I will talk to you again soon in the morning, because tonight there won't be trades. Thank you.